Being that it's Vlogmas, I wanted to go ahead and make a video that I wouldn't normally make. I want to address some of the questions that you guys ask me about the Mustang all the time. So in today's video, we're actually going to take a break from doing all modifications, and we're just going to talk about every single mod that I've done to the Mustang. So I want to start off with just aesthetic mods, and then we'll get into the performance stuff because there aren't very many performance mods. Damn, alright, pop off, Sheriff. There aren't very many performance mods. Most of it has been aesthetic up until now. And also keep in mind, the front bumper is kind of taken apart right now, so the fitment isn't great. I know, it's not normally like this, but those of you that have been following along know why. So starting at the front, I have the halo headlights and fog lights. I found these on eBay. They're about 150 bucks for each, so the pair of headlights is 150, the pair of fog lights is another 150. I really like the look of these. I'm actually kind of sad that I'm going to be losing the quad halo look when I go to the new bumper. The one thing I don't like is that these ones are smoked and these ones aren't, but that's obviously pretty fixable with just like some tint or whatever, and I think it would help make the colors match because these ones have almost like a blue glow and these ones are super bright. During the day they look just fine, but at nighttime it's really obvious that the center lights are definitely brighter than the headlights. Moving down, I have these, I think they're Raxiom. I'm not exactly sure what the brand is, but these are just smoked turn signals and they just use like a factory bulb in there, so they glow orange when the running lights are on, but they're pretty much factory. This is like falling down. Oh my gosh. I probably should have put a little bit more of the hardware back in this thing, but it's fine. I installed these a few months ago and I honestly really like them. They haven't gotten any condensation in them yet. I was a little bit worried about that because there was a crack in one of them, I think. We sealed it off and they've been working just fine. Other than them being really stock, I actually like the look. If you guys remember, or if you guys own one, you'll remember that the factory lights are just super bright orange and I really just didn't like the way that they looked. And then finally on the front of the car, we just have this Cervini's Type 2 chin spoiler. Originally I was going to paint it black, and then I decided that in the future I might actually add another splitter to the bottom of that, so it's just a chin spoiler. It's kind of thicker than a splitter would be, so I went ahead and paint matched it to the car and I added the stripes onto it. I think it just helps bring the front end down a little bit because one thing I don't like about the factory bumper is it really just leaves a lot on the table as far as aesthetics goes. Like it even has a little cutout where it comes up and it literally looks like it was designed for aftermarket companies to make aesthetic changes to it. So all in all, I like the front splitter on this car. I think it, or chin spoiler rather, I think it looks pretty good. I definitely gonna hold on to it in case I ever swap back to this bumper. I'll want to run that for sure. Moving on to the side of the car, we've got, of course, the shortened antenna. This was like the first mod we ever did on the channel. It's the first video I ever made, so kind of want to keep this on there. Even though it might look better if I like took this off and did the antenna delete thing, I kind of want to keep this on. It's kind of a sentimental thing for me. And then the wheels I'm running right now, since it is wintertime, I'm running 18x9s all around. I do have another set of wheels for the back. I haven't actually showed them to you guys yet, but they're 18x10s for the back, and then I'll keep these 18x9s in the front. They're the same pattern and everything, it's just they're wider, but I don't want to run like a slick type tire in the middle of the winter because, you know, I need to not die. These have been working just fine. I'm running 255s, I think. Yeah, so these are 255 45 ZR18s on an 18x9 inch wheel. And then if you look in there, these are actually OEM brakes. I mean, I have drilled and slotted rotors, so those aren't OEM, but these are OEM brake calipers that I got and I painted them blue. I kind of feel like everybody does red calipers, and I wanted this car to not be that much of like a show off because I know that some people think it's a little bit ricey to kind of do red calipers. I mean, it is a performance vehicle, but they're just OEM brakes, so I just went with blue. I think it matches really well with the gray and it gets a little bit of color because other than that, this car really didn't have like any color on the outside. So just running the blue calipers, I think it's pretty cool. Don't see that many cars with like dark blue calipers unless it's like Ferraris and high performance cars like that, but I'm really enjoying the blue. Sets it off a little bit. You might notice it going down the road or you might not, and that's kind of what I like about it. It's just one of those small details. I don't have any side splitters yet. I do have side skirts. These are just the factory side skirts, but I don't have anything on the side. I would kind of like to maybe get like a side ground effect or something, but still working on that. And then, oh crap, this mirror has fucking bird shit on it. These side mirrors are aftermarket. These are the MMD retro side mirrors. I picked these up on American Muscle. I think they were around $200. I really like the way they look. They are, however, pretty small, so if you do decide to get these mirrors, just always check your blind spot, like look over your shoulder, because these don't provide very good coverage for that area right there. If you're going down the highway, always look over your shoulder because they're not very safe. And then as far as the ride height goes, I have the SR Performance 1.5 inch drop lowering springs, and I'm running them on factory struts. I do need to upgrade the struts, but I think I'm actually just gonna get coilovers and drop the back down a little bit more. So that's to come, but right now I think the stance is fine. The main thing was just to get rid of that horrible factory gap, because this thing from the factory just looks like an absolute monster truck. I just really didn't like the way that it looks. So the 1.5 inch drop really affects the front more so than the back. This being a Mustang, I think that that's low enough for me. When I get coilovers, I probably won't go much lower than that, but the back definitely could be a little bit lower, but I think I get away with it considering that it's a Mustang. And the wheel fitment, of course, is pretty good. The 18x10s will look a little bit better, but it's pretty flush. And then moving on, I painted this myself. So this is just like a billet raw metal gas cap. I took the hardware out and then I cut out this little stencil. I put it over there, painted it black, and then I pulled the stencil off. A lot of people ask me about this. They're like, where'd you get the gas cap? I actually made it. I need to redo it because some of the paint is actually chipping off from like little rocks and whatnot. But it's just one of those little things. I really like the way it looks. Some people might hate that. They might want it to paint match the car. I think it's fine. And then the last two things, as far as the side of the car, I have these LED side markers. These are actually pretty unusual. I don't see many people running them. You can go on like American Muscle and get the ones that have the single LED, but I dug around forever trying to find these double LEDs, and I used to have the single LED strip ones and I really liked them, but I always wanted to have like the double stripe. And then one day I was on Amazon, I wasn't even looking for this in particular, and it just popped up. It was like a dual LED. The only bad thing is like I'm pretty sure they're made in China, so like they kind of wobble a little bit and I had to like double-sided tape them in there. That's a little bit unfortunate, but aside from that, I think they look really good, and I haven't actually ever seen anybody with an S197 running the dual strip LED side markers. I know you can find them on Amazon somewhere. I think I left the link in the video that I made about it. I don't actually remember. Maybe I'll put that in this video because they're pretty neat. And then moving on to the back of the car, this is the OEM spoiler. I don't have an aftermarket one yet. And then these are the Raxiom Vector taillights. These actually weren't produced by Raxiom because I think they got bought out by a Spider. So these are actually the Spider taillights. I know that you can get them with white diffusers, and I think you can get them in red too. Although I believe a lot of people recommend not to do that because the Raxiom Vector V2s have come out and these ones are kind of known for braking. Mine still function as far as I know. I mean, I haven't seen them light up in a couple weeks. I know that the running lights definitely still work, but unfortunately there is condensation in this tail light, which really sucks. I was thinking about selling them. I still might. I kind of want to try to fix that because yeah, that sucks. Definitely not something you want to see on your aftermarket taillights, but you know, it is what it is. And of course I have a smoked out third brake light. This is Axial, I believe. I don't know the brands on these very well because there's so many different aftermarket LED tail light, running light, blinker, turn signal, all those. I don't really know all the names, so I do apologize about that. But if you just go online and look up like 05 to 09 Mustang smoked third brake light, there's like 10 different options that pop up and they're all pretty much the same. And that is LED as well. Almost all the lights on this car are LEDs. I've been trying to convert all the halogens to LEDs and I'm getting there. The last thing as far as aesthetics goes is this rear diffuser. So this was made for me by a friend of mine on Instagram. If you want one of these diffusers, definitely hit him up at Brandon66 Polar. He makes them from brushed aluminum and then he hand assembles them and sends them out. I just think it's a really nice look for this car. Originally I was gonna get a different rear bumper, but because of this diffuser, I've actually decided to stick with this rear bumper for now. Definitely a cool look, and if you want one, hit him up. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but this is like the side splitter that comes with the diffuser, so this is like an option. And if you do go ahead and buy one of these, I definitely recommend getting the side splitter because it really helps complete the diffuser look. And it is starting to rain on me, of course, so I'm gonna go ahead and hop in the car real quick. Classic Oregon. Couldn't just give me one day with no rain. But anyway, while we're in here, I'll go ahead and show you the interior mods. It's pretty much stock. I do have a Barton short throw shifter, which is partially aesthetic and partially functional. This is an aftermarket center cap for the stock steering wheel. Everything you see here is stock. Over here, I have these switches that I installed. This one controls the halo lights on the front, and then this one turns on my little floor lights. These floor lights, I can change the color. Right now, I'm running purple purple because I have like the purple dash and the purple stereo. But I was doing blue a while back. They can also like dance to music, which is pretty nice. But other than that, this interior is pretty much factory. These stupid door panel things keep coming down, and I've re-glued it before, so I think I might make a video about like stitching them onto there or something. I'm not exactly sure, but that kind of sucks. Either that, or I might pick up the 10 to 14 door panels, because I know you can swap them onto this car, so that's also an option that I'm looking into. Although the only ones I could find online were like $500 for 2 door panels. I was like, that's a little much. I don't know if I want to spend $500 on door panels. The rain is slowing down, so I'm gonna let it simmer for a second, and then we'll go over the performance stuff. It's not very much performance, but it is there, so we do have to talk about it. Okay guys, so I actually ended up coming back to the garage because the rain just hasn't chilled out. It's been like an hour now. I tried to see if maybe if I waited for a little bit it would stop, but I guess it just decided it's not. We're just gonna finish the mod list here. So as far as performance goes, there's really not that much done to this car, and that's honestly kind of what I like about it right now. Obviously, I'd love to get a supercharger at some point. I'm thinking I might get a Pro Charger set up. I'll probably make a video pretty soon kind of explaining why I would run a Pro Charger on the 3-valve specifically. These cars are a little bit finicky with low-end torque, so I'll probably make a video talking about that. Some like engineering stuff for some you engineering nerds. But as of right now, this car just has, it's not quite full bolt-on because I could do the little like pulley swap on the crank gear and whatnot. I don't remember exactly what that's called, so I need that to optimize my power and reduce the power going to like the AC or whatever, but I'm not really worried about that. Other than that, it's pretty much full bolt-on. I have Roush cold air intake. It's tuned by Bamo, which is just really not that great. And then I have catless downpipes off of the stock manifold, so if I wanted a little bit more power, I should run long tube headers because these are just the stock manifolds. So if I wanted a little bit more power, I would run long tube headers, which actually is a plan I have pretty soon. But then I have catless downpipes and then an off-road X pipe. And then as far as the catback goes, it's the Roush Extreme catback exhaust, so it has 3-inch resonators, and those really don't quiet the car down. And then there's no rear mufflers, and it has 4-inch tips. So this car is super loud. It's pretty obnoxious. I personally like the way that it sounds, but eventually I do want to quiet it down a little bit, or at least have some sort of valve system so that way like I could make it this loud, but then also like quiet it down if I'm in the neighborhood or something, because this car is very obnoxious. Sometime in the near future, I would also like to get the 6-speed manual. I think it's the T56 from Ford Performance. With this car being boosted eventually, it will inevitably destroy that transmission. It's just something that happens when you get this engine up to like 500 wheel. So I do want to get the 6-speed manual, and I honestly might do that before the car is boosted, just because the 5-speed, especially at highway speeds and stuff, it's just not great for gas mileage, and I'd love to have the 6-speed. And if I do that, I might upgrade the rear gear ratio to like a 373. Some of you guys that know your gear ratios will know that the longer gears from the 6-speed will work better with the shorter gear ratio. So like it's just one of those things that'll kind of help the car wake up a little bit, because right now I believe this car has like 331s, 332, something like that. It pulls for a long time. Like I can go almost 100 in 3rd gear. In Mexico, of course. But I think that being able to get up into the power band quicker with a slightly shorter gear in the back and longer gears and a 6-speed manual would be pretty awesome. It would help this car drive smoother. Once I do eventually get a supercharger, I'll probably upgrade the cooling system with like a Mishimoto radiator, and maybe one day build this engine, but that's kind of a long ways in the future. This car has been running super reliably right now, and I'm honestly just working on making it look nuts. So that's kind of what we're up to. Those of you that have been following along and you made it this far in the video, I want to go ahead and give you guys an update on the bumper. After I finish this video, I am going to get back to sanding this. I just didn't want to bore you guys with too much of the footage of just like pure sanding time lapses, because it's just not that entertaining. And also, before I wrap this video up, I also want to remind you guys that on the 21st, I'll be picking the winner for the Meguiar's car detailing kit. So if you head over to my Instagram and you go to this post, all the information to enter the giveaway is there. It really helps out the channel when you guys do that. It's completely free. So if you want to support the channel in any way, just go and enter the giveaway, and then on the 21st, I'll decide the winner, and then I'll just send them a DM and ask for their address. Not creepy at all. But other than that, I think that's going to wrap this one up today, guys. There's more to come with this bumper pretty soon. I'm just trying to get it ready for paint. So if you liked today's video, make sure you leave a like down below. Hope you guys are enjoying Vlogmas, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out and dream big.